So an adaptation does not have to be bad.
Mhm.
Differences are not necessarily bad. So I feel
But why?
Yeah, but why?
So when you make the decision making the live action Lilo and Stitch that you're going to remove all commentary on tourism, when you remove all of that, I'm like, why?
Yeah, and it's
You did that
not
on purpose.
asking
Why?
does not mean we disagree with it.
But explain yourself.
Sometimes the answer is simply because the writers, they love to be like, well, I did it. So they'll change a good joke for a worse joke.
That is the main reason that you changed jokes.
I'm funny. I'm clever. It was me, guys.
Come and see the violence inherent in the system! Help! Help! I'm being repressed! Bloody peasant! Oh, what a giveaway. Did you hear that? Did you hear that, eh? That's what I'm on about. Do you see him repressing me?
Today we are being repressed by Disney and their live action remakes.
Mostly Lilo and Stitch.
We wasted nearly 2 hours of our lives last Saturday watching the live action. And I gotta say, I did want to walk out starting about 30 seconds in.
Okay, that might be an well, here's the thing. We didn't want to go. So saying you wanted to walk out like 30 seconds in isn't...
Well, what happened 30 seconds in?
I don't remember.
Everything. It was so fast-paced.
Yeah, first off, we were like, why on earth would you make a live action of Lilo and Stitch? Because basically, if you don't change the storyline at all, this is with all of their live actions, though. It's like, if you don't change the storyline, what's the point in doing it? And then if you're making a ton of changes...
Why aren't you just making a new movie?
Yes, why aren't you making a new movie?
Plus, a lot of these original animated films were animated because they can't be live action.
Okay, so you have all the aliens, and you're like, okay, so we're just going to do CGI. It's still animation.
And we're going to skip out on a lot of scenes just because the CGI would be too hard or too expensive.
Yeah.
That too.
Basically, it took 5 minutes into the film to realize that it was going to be a bad film.
And we stuck it out so we could talk about it.
Accurately.
Instead of just guessing correctly, but guessing.
Just smearing it, you know.
So our all-in-all review would be, if you haven't seen it, don't see it. If you've seen it, my condolences. And if you've seen it and liked it, reassess yourself.
You're a flawed human being.
And you should have better taste.
Basically. It took like the first 15 minutes of the movie. It was funny because we watched the cartoon, right, to compare it. And it's like, a lot of the same exact things happened. And yet, the live action made it extremely rushed and extremely choppy.
Yeah. For one, right off the bat, we lost a lot of the original jokes that kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
And
they took away Jumba's accent.
They took away Jumba's accent.
Like,
that was depressing. All of Jumba's jokes. But
made them worse jokes, basically.
They also just made everything happen immediately. In the original animated film, there's a lot of like time cuts. I can't talk. Time cuts. Where it's like, okay, this happened, now next scene at some time in the future, right?
Yeah.
Normal for movies. Instead, Lilo and Stitch just went from like moment to moment to moment to moment. Like, Stitch escaped before Jumba got put in prison. Like, he hadn't even been cleared out of the courtroom yet. That was how they just stacked those scenes all next to each other with transitions.
So even if it's like similarly, like it takes a similar amount of time,
it feels like, dang, what just happened?
Yeah, it feels extremely rushed because it's not a time cut.
They also removed basically all beats of thought.
Yeah. No thought.
No thought at all.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so we didn't grow up with
But wait, let me just
go for it.
Label what that was real fast. When I say beats of thought, I just mean when you're looking at a character and they're clearly thinking through something. You just wanted to elaborate in case I wasn't clear. So like Stitch is trapped, he's thinking. He spits out a little saliva, like, well, he wiggles his ears, and then he's like, I noticed that, like, and he's thinking. Yeah. He spits a little and he's thinking. And instead of having these beats of thought, which in most movies should happen throughout the entire film because you don't always say stuff out loud. You're not always acting. Sometimes you're planning. Instead, it just went bam, 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 bam. And there was never, like, a slow beat.
It really helped him not actually be a character. Because it's like, oh, you're not thinking about this. It's just
moves.
Reaction.
He's animalian. He doesn't ever process anything.
But it's the same with the people.
Yep.
They're not processing anything. But it's very funny because, like I was saying, it's like we didn't really grow up with Lilo and Stitch. That wasn't one that was like in our arsenal of cartoon movies that we would go through. So I don't have a lot of the sentimentality that comes with watching like a...
That a lot of people would have.
Yeah, so when people go into it, they're like, oh, it's Lilo and Stitch. I
Look,
love Lilo and
Lilo.
Stitch. Look, it's Lilo. Look at Stitch. Like, yay. And I'm like, okay, this is a new movie. I think I'd watched Lilo and Stitch like once before this. And it's just like, okay, so I don't know any of these characters. You give me like an hour, 49 minutes or whatever the length of the movie was.
There's no copy-paste affection.
Yes, it's like, so if I'm not bringing along all of this like already formed character development and depth, then the characters of the actual movie are completely flat. It's like, I don't even know who they are, what they're doing, or why they're doing it, and I don't care.
Mm-hmm. It really did count on a lot of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And before anybody thinks that we just don't like Lilo and Stitch, we just rewatched the original animation, and it was quite fun.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
And it was like, there's a lot of legitimate emotion and character development, so we don't have
Another
beef
thing
with the
removed.
original thing.
Yeah.
It is just this retelling. And one beef that I have with all kinds of remakes is when they're disrespectful to the original source material.
Mm-hmm.
When you're deciding that you're making changes, that's allowed, obviously. You can develop and change things. But when what you've changed spits on the original thing,
Well, it's
you
like,
can't, like, that's more of a
yeah,
problem.
It's like Beyonce doing the Jolene song, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And she basically changes the song to be like, well, I'm not like that. I'm not going to let you have my man. And I'm like, so what are you doing?
So you're not actually giving proper respect to Dolly Parton.
Yeah, it's like you took this like interesting
You're
song
being
with
snotty.
an interesting concept, and you're like, that was stupid, and stole the tune.
Yeah. Ava
So
Max does that a
similarly,
lot.
I feel like in this movie, it's like, oh, we stole the tune and the feeling, and then we absolutely changed the spirit of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Ohana.
Yeah, that was the one big takeaway, the theme. Ohana means family.
Mhm.
Family means no one gets left behind. But it also means never leave yourself behind.
Yeah,
Because
love it
selflessness is not a virtue to Hollywood.
anymore.
Ever?
No, it's
They
very
do-
strange because it's like, okay, so in the original cartoon, right? You
Mhm.
have Ohana means family, and the whole progression is Stitch learning what family is,
Yep.
right?
Which
and then
didn't happen in
the
the
sister,
in
the
live
older
action.
sister, is it Nani?
Nani.
Nani, right, is desperately fighting to keep her family together. And obviously she's a flawed character. She gets angry, she gets irritated. She's not meant to be perfect. However, she's laying everything out. Like, she's completely giving her life for her sister.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she would die for her.
While everyone else is pressuring her to give her up.
Yes, everyone's pushing on her, being like, it's actually, you're just being selfish. You just want Lilo with you.
Does Lilo even need you, or do you just need Lilo?
Right? That's the whole thing going on. It's like she is giving up everything, even her reputation, basically,
Mm-hmm.
for her sister. And it's great. And then through the story, it's proven that she's right.
Mm-hmm.
That they need to be together, that
This is something special. This
Yeah.
is something to not give up. And
family
that
is a deeper
selflessness
connection.
is rewarded by
Right?
the end of the film.
By the end of the film, they are a more full and complete family.
And it has payoff where there are now people supporting her who've actually
Mhm.
come to see what she was fighting for. And so not only did it demonstrate her being selfless, it rewarded the selflessness.
Yeah, Nani, they actually made a lot of weird changes to her character.
Mhm.
First off, the introduction of Nani was actually her screwing up.
And you do have to remember that the first time you see a character is actually really important to how you view them through the rest of the movie.
It really sets the tone of the character.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time we meet her is her messing up and not making it to Lilo's like dance recital,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Where
She doesn't
Lilo
make
is
it.
like eyeballing the empty chair, being like, is she gonna come? And she just
Yeah,
doesn't.
and the reason Lilo kind of messes up is because Nani wasn't there for her.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually what causes Lilo to be a spaz. It's not, Lilo's not being bad by herself, it's because her sister isn't there for her. And so, compared to the cartoon movie, where it was like a practice dance recital,
It was just a hula practice,
Yeah.
and she got kicked out early
Yeah,
for
beating
biting
up-
Myrtle.
for biting
Because
someone.
Myrtle called her weird for
Yeah.
feeding Pudge the fish, which is
As you should.
so much personality. And her dance teacher told her that she's supposed to wait for Nani to pick her up. And she doesn't. She runs off.
Yeah. And she runs home and she's by herself instead of leaving because Nani wasn't there, which is a very different thing for a character to do. And then you also have, throughout the story, everyone telling Nani, you know, you have to let go of Lilo. You have to...
This is selfish.
Yes, it's like...
This is not selfless. This is
People
selfish.
are being like, you're being selfish. Also, what do you think Lilo would actually want? It's like, do you think she wants to be holding you back? And
or does
Nani's-
she want you
yeah.
to be educated and pursue your dreams?
Exactly. And at the time, Nani's like, she's 6. I don't care what she wants. She doesn't know.
Yeah, because she's a kid.
Because she's a kid. And I'm like, oh, so I agree with Nani earlier in the movie. Right? And so you see both characters, I think the cartoon and the live action. Nani, even though she's screwing up in the live action, she's also being a selfless character. She's also giving up things for Lilo. Right?
However, there's definitely a lot of evidence in the live action that everybody else is right.
Yes.
Nani is constantly falling behind, overwhelmed, angry at Lilo, lashing out at Lilo, and like just being a general wreck to the point where you're like, I kind of get everybody else's point.
Basically, so
They have very, very few happy beats in the live action compared to the animated, where she is actually very, very kind to Lilo.
oh yeah,
And she does her
Obviously,
little
they-
judgmental sister stare, obviously.
They definitely have some rough spots
For
where
sure.
they're angry at each other and yelling at
And
each
have
other.
to make up.
Yeah. However, there are definitely moments where Nani's genuinely trying to look out for her.
And doing well.
Yeah.
Where
and
Nani
actually,
is the one who understands
Lilo doesn't actually know the whole situation because Nani's protecting her from it.
Yes.
Right?
Lilo does not know how bad her life is.
Right.
Which is as it should be for a kid.
Yeah, you don't want them to know. But the thing is, you take both of them, and I still hold that in both cases, she's trying to give up stuff for her sister. She's trying
to be selfless.
Yeah, she's trying to be selfless. And then in the live action, they're like, okay, that's bad.
Yeah.
Actually, selflessness is not a good thing. It's like, okay, so...
Because Ohana means never leaving yourself behind.
Yes. Ohana is not simply never leave your family behind. It's like, okay, you are part of your family. Do not betray yourself and what you need and your desires. And that's the message. The message is, okay, so the Child Protective Services
Are the good guys.
are not antagonists in this. They're the good guys who are actually here to help. And they're here to help you, the older sister, not be burdened by your younger sister. And to be able to achieve your full potential. It's like...
Which is why she,
Hold up.
at the end of the movie, in case you didn't know,
Spoiler.
agrees to give Lilo up to foster care.
And they're like, oh, but it's okay because it's the
Because
family
they
next door.
invented a new character to give Lilo to make you feel better about it.
So
So also,
Nani can
if
go to
you had like a parent figure living next door, the situation probably wouldn't have been so bad because I feel like
Yeah, why do you have to give her
grandma
up for foster?
shouldn't grandma have been helping
Right?
the whole time?
It's like, okay, so...
Instead of just being like, well, I'll adopt her if you go to college.
I'll only take care of her if you leave.
I'll take care of her if you go to California
Yeah.
to study marine biology.
Because that's super
Because there's
boring.
no marine biology in Hawaii.
No, none. Not a good place for it, you know?
Yeah,
It's very
and
weird.
Lilo has to be like, Nani, leave.
Because you're like, okay, so, you know, like all the whole Christian thing of like, if you give up your life for me, like you'll find your life.
Mhm.
And there's this type of giving up on yourself is actually the only way you find yourself.
Exactly.
Versus pursuing your dreams, pursuing what you want. It's like, okay, so you're telling us the happy end is her giving up on her family. And people will argue and be like, she's not giving up.
No, she can visit.
She can visit. They have the special like portal guns, which for one are stupid.
They have no consistency at all.
Zero consistency. It's like, wait, how do you use these things?
Also, by the way, they removed basically all of the guns and all references to discipline, including animal discipline, which is just amusing.
Yeah. Well, those things are scary.
They are.
They are scary. See,
They
we
are.
got disciplined. Look how well we turned out. We're not weird at all.
Nope.
Turned out great.
We're
Yeah.
repressed.
Yeah, I forgot. Should remember that. But yeah, they took out the guns. They took out the discipline. That was weird.
Yeah, like she didn't even train Stitch.
Right? So
No attempt at training
this whole
Stitch
movie,
with like the water bottle.
weirdness is they took out so much of the character development and the character depth. Stitch barely has any development.
Yeah, you don't actually
all.
consider Stitch to be like a sentient creature.
He's not even a
In
main character. He's like
in the movie
there.
because, like I said, they don't give you any of those beats
Yeah.
of him processing things. So throughout the cartoon, Nani and Lilo are being a family.
Right.
And obviously they're broken, but there's a lot of beautiful things there. And Stitch is watching. So sure, he's not talking the whole time, but you see him sitting there, he's watching, he's processing, he's imitating, and you just see this longing as he starts to process that there is something here that's worthwhile.
Yeah.
There is no such thing in the live action.
No,
of
in the
any
live
kind.
action, they cut out every montage. Like, they cut out... There's this moment on the beach where he's watching, and there's, like, David, who they
Mhm.
also, like, really...
They really did David dirty.
In the movie,
They
yeah,
just made
no.
him stupid.
Yeah, they made him really dumb in the live action. But there's this moment in the cartoon, right, where there's David, there's Nani, and there's Lilo, and they're playing on the beach. They're making sand. They're burying...
They're burying her in the sand
Yeah.
and making a sandcastle
and,
over her.
Yeah, and he's watching, and he's seeing them do it, and so he, like, buries himself in sand and, like, sticks a leaf on it as a flag, and it's just like...
Then just looks and then just gives up because he knows that it's
Because-
not the same.
Yeah, because it's not the same. There's this whole character progression that we find in Stitch,
Mhm.
where he's realizing he's missing something, and
Yep.
then starts to pursue it.
And he's actively looking for it.
And so you see the actual growth arc versus in the live action where you don't see the growth arc, you just get the conclusion. You're like,
He just says, "We're family" at the end.
and you're like,
And you're
okay,
like,
why?
what? When did that happen?
When did that ever happen?
Well, if you've watched the cartoon, you'll know that there's a whole sequence of the ugly duckling,
That's
which
cute.
I think is so cute.
It's pretty
and
adorable,
kind
actually.
of weirdly sad, where Stitch, through the ugly duckling, is coming to realize what exactly he's missing. He's been watching, he's been looking, and now he's like, this is it.
Well, yeah,
Is he looks at this...
Yeah, he finds the book, right?
Yeah, he's got the book, and it's got the picture of the little duckling, well, the swan, sitting alone, saying, "I'm lost."
Yeah, crying because he doesn't have a family.
And then his family finds him, and Stitch is like, "That's it. That's what I want."
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of the turning point. And at the low point in the movie, when Nani's confronted with the fact that she is going to be forced to give Lilo up, and Lilo still hasn't processed it,
Mm-hmm.
but Nani's like, refusing to let Lilo see her cry, but is like trying to have this goodbye. Stitch goes out and sits in the middle of the woods. I don't know. Is it woods in Hawaii?
There are trees.
Jungle?
I don't know what they
I don't
want to
know.
call it. Jungle
It's a little
makes
tropical.
sense, right? Tropical.
It's tropical.
He sits in the middle of the tropics.
And
in
then
an
just
island.
calls out to the world, "I'm lost."
Yeah.
And I'm like, that actually is such a fun little redemption arc, because he was a
Yeah.
little monster at the beginning. Like, you see how he treats everything and
Mm-hmm.
everyone at the beginning. There's a reason they were exiling him. And this is actually a great example of a redemption arc, even if it's just a goofy little kids movie, and it's not my favorite.
No, there are much better ones.
But that just crying out, like, admitting that you were lost and that you need
Yeah.
someone to save you
Yeah, that was great.
is great.
But then in this new version,
Nope,
you're just like,
not there.
they cut out so much. I don't know how
How
they
is
made
it so long
Yeah,
without any of
like,
this stuff in
They
it?
made it, I think, a little longer than the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, so how did you take out everything that made this meaningful
Yeah,
at all?
you took out all the good parts, and it still was long.
So it's like, okay,
There's no
Lilo,
Stitch in an Elvis
right?
outfit
Lilo
in
didn't
it.
have any character development. Stitch had no character development. The CPS was not evil. They were great.
Well, both Lilo and Stitch, I think, were told, rather than needing development, they were just told, "You're not bad, you just do bad things sometimes."
Yeah.
And that was it for both of them in the full character development.
It's like, no, you're great, actually. You just need to be in a better home without your sister. That's the real issue. So the only one who was like, besides the evil scientist, Jumba, who they made just entirely bad. In
Well,
the live
that's probably
action.
just because they didn't want to CGI the giant alien.
Sure.
So they needed
'Cause
they
CGI is
needed a
expensive,
different
so we're
CGI
like,
is expensive. That's why we don't have any of the spaceship battles, which there are multiple. And that's
Yeah.
why you don't have the giant alien, and they just made Jumba full-blown evil, but without the accent.
I know. Why did they take away his accent? That was like the best part of him.
Well, he also was funny.
But the accent was why it was funny.
It's also strange that the two aliens that were stalking Stitch to catch him basically were never there in the live action.
They were just random places.
They were just hanging out at the resort being gay.
Well, yeah, they had them in costumes, I guess.
They're just people
so
instead of aliens.
They had disguises and they like put on a
but
bracelet.
They did like
turned
they
into a
weren't
person.
following Stitch around. So in the cartoon, it's amusing because Stitch really doesn't want to be a pet.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
He's just using Lilo for protection at first. And he cannot leave her alone because the aliens are literally right there.
All the time.
At one point, Jumba yells, "If you ever want to give up, let us know."
Yeah, and
I don't remember if that's exactly what he said, but something along those lines. And he like rolls his eyes and hugs Lilo.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just not there.
Yeah.
Through the live action, it's just like
it's just very weird to me because I'm like, okay, so you used more time and did
to get less done.
To get way less done, and then you added more background on characters like Nani, who's like apparently super smart
without depth.
Without any depth to the character. But also the only character who needed any progression, was given any, was Nani. And her progression was learning to be more self-centered. And to actually pursue what she wanted.
That is the moral of all the new movies.
And I was like, yeah, it was a painful watch. I just didn't want to be there. And the worst part is, it's making tons of money. And I'm like, we walk out of the theater and the people sitting behind us, right?
Oh my gosh, that was so good. That was actually really fun.
Where's your brain at? Like, it was absolutely terrible.
I would just love if everyone could hold higher standards.
Yeah.
Because we will get better content if we're pickier.
Right?
Like,
if no one watches it, they can't make it.
Yeah, and there's too many people are like, it's not that deep, it's not that deep, it's just a kid's movie, like, you're allowed to just have fun, like, it doesn't have to be that good. I'm like, well, we live in a capitalist society, and they're gonna do what makes them money, so we have the ability as the consumer to actually move them to get quality if you punish them for doing bad things. If we stopped being caught up in the novelty of like, wow, seeing the classics as live action.
Then, yeah, like, I really don't understand.
Then maybe they'll stop doing it.
Okay, there's really no point in making these live actions except for just making money.
Well, at least how they're doing it.
In how they're doing it.
There's probably some that could be fun, but you would have to...
Because it's like, you don't change enough to make it worth even doing. It's like, okay, so it's the same movie? But then you change just enough to make it worse and to mean something else.
Yeah.
Than it originally did.
You feel the need to change something, so you remove all the good jokes and put on
and make
a
your
new
own
worse
jokes.
And make your own jokes, which are worse because...
Yeah. I'm like, so you had a script.
Also...
And you ruined it.
The level of botched that Lilo's personality was, because we just watched the animated, as I said, and that is a character.
Oh, yeah.
Lilo is such a gremlin. She's great.
Here's the thing. This is another reason it was a bad idea as live action.
Mm-hmm.
Child actors are just difficult.
It's really hard to find ones that are that good because they're kids.
Yeah. No, it's difficult. It's not their fault. But it's like, okay, so you have this character who's supposed to have tons of personality, lots of lines.
Yeah.
Tons
they ended
of
up just cutting most of her lines.
They just don't have her say stuff.
Because she can't.
Yeah. And you're like, well, now we don't know her.
Yeah. She just has so much strangeness in the animated movie. And she's just kind of a bad kid
in the
live action. And, she's a kid in a tough spot, so it's not like she's that bad. It's just you see her and she's kind of grouchy and angry or happy, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And those are the modes versus her in the animated where she's making voodoo dolls out of spoons of her friends and putting them in pickle juice.
You're like, okay.
And like she says the most random stuff. She says that her sister can yell at her on special days that are Tuesdays and bank holidays.
Yeah.
Like she's just this spaz of a child.
Well, yeah, they took out...
And that's part of the thing is she feels different than other kids. And it's not just that her parents are dead. She feels out of place.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why Nani is so defensive of her. One of the things she tells Cobra Bubbles, who was also sadly botched, is like, no one understands her. Like, she needs me. And it's because she needs someone who gets her, who sticks by her through everything.
Yeah, someone who doesn't give up on her.
Even though she's a strange little being.
Yeah, it was just a bad movie overall.
Yeah.
Don't recommend. Don't watch.
As I said,
Don't
if you
give them
liked it,
money.
I would like you to raise your standards and watch the original and compare. Maybe just consume better movies to remind.
Just so judgy.
Well, just remind yourself what a good movie is.
Actually, so that's sometimes what you need.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so if you just watch crap, you're not going to be able to identify it.
You're going to start settling for less if you're just consuming the new stuff.
But it was pretty sad walking into the theater and being like, so everything that's being shown here is a remake?
Every poster on the
sequel?
wall.
Like a spin-off? Like, okay, what do we have here? Live action? Like, it's...
There's like the John Wick universe, there's the Marvel universe, there's another
Yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog, there's
Oh my gosh, do people
a
watch
Tron.
this?
Yeah. There's a Tron sequel, which I probably will watch.
Okay, I will watch.
Those motorcycles are sick.
Yeah, they're cool.
But it's just like, oh, there's so little originality.
Yeah, it's like creativity has been thrown
So-
out the window. but
And
they
so
don't
many
need it.
people are just settling because
Yeah.
that's what's available.
It's like, okay, if you don't demand anything more, they're not going to change the product.
Correct.
It's just going to stay the same.
If they can get away with disrespecting your intelligence and taste, then they will continue to do so.
I mean, like, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I was just explaining to my little sister who wants to get a job
No.
that what she needs to be looking for is least amount of effort for most amount of money.
Yeah, you give great sisterly
I
advice.
give great advice.
Like, how little work can you do?
Well, it's just the case, time and effort for money.
Well, yeah.
So you don't do something that's like hugely impractical for a little bit of money.
Yeah.
But that's how it works. Least amount of effort for most amount of money. And that is what Disney got on Lilo and Stitch. Was
It
a
worked.
pile of crap for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
At least the Snow White bombed.
Okay, that was happy. We did not see that one. We were not
I
even-
did vote on IMDb.
Yeah. If you haven't, go vote on
It is
IMDb.
currently the lowest rated IMDb movie, all the way below the live action Dragon Ball.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we tell everyone to go vote.
I think it's at like a
Like,
1.4
we
out
don't
of 10
we don't
right now.
necessarily like showing up to anything to vote, but this is worth it. we
Well,
just-
we vote for America.
Yeah, but we don't really want to. We just do.
We do because it's the right thing to do as a patriotic individual.
Mhm.
Also, our dad makes us. We're being repressed.
We're always repressed.
We're always
This
repressed.
is what it comes back to. It's like
yeah, we're always repressed.
makes
That's
us
why
do
we have a
stuff.
podcast.
Yeah. Super repressed. But I don't
Super
know.
repressed.
What do you think the worst live action that we've seen is?
All that we've seen.
'Cause we
the thing
haven't
is, the ones
seen-
that are really bad, I avoid.
Like the plague. We're like,
Yeah.
mm-mm,
So Snow White,
not even worth
I did not need to see that.
to
I-
know.
I saw part of the trailer, and it was disrespectful to everything creative in this world. And oh my gosh, hired dwarf actors. What's with those
Stuff with
CGI
correct.
abominations?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like there aren't
There's
that
some
many
ama-
roles.
Yeah, there's some amazing dwarf actors who don't have a ton of roles available to them. And you
And-
have 7 roles. Let's
and
go.
you just gave them away to a computer. Like, okay. I mean, there's the How to Train Your Dragon that's coming out. That's gonna be terrible.
Not DreamWorks getting on the ship.
See, why? It's just like a trend now.
Yeah, that's the thing is I wanted to mention that audiences are very susceptible to trends.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to all be embarrassed looking back. And I hope you know that. Because a lot of people kind of get that defensive or embarrassed about the early 2000s. Where it's like so many 2D movies were completely looked over that a lot of people have revisited and been like, wow, that's really good. And they
Like
were
Treasure Planet?
completely left in the dust.
Yeah.
Because of the emergence of 3D.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was new and it was trendy and everybody wanted to see the new thing. And now everybody's
It's
like,
new,
can't we
therefore
have
better."
2D again?
Well, yeah, because it's so
Everybody
expressive.
misses the 2D, but we rewarded the 3D just because it was new. And now we just have a ton of really sadly dry animations.
Yeah.
It's a little rough. And so right now we're having that trend with the idea of bringing a classic to life. and everybody's hopping on the trend, and none of them are good. I will say
No.
points to the Cinderella.
Yeah, that's because it's different. It's not the same.
Yes. See, that'd be an example of when you're like, how do we do a live action in a good way? It's not like my favorite movie by any means. However, it demonstrates how you can be respectful to the source material, but actually make a new movie out of it.
Yeah.
And it can be fun and it's enjoyed as a separate thing.
Yeah.
Instead of being a badly done copy paste.
I think what helps with that one is that Cinderella has a lot of background story. So it
Mhm.
has like the Grimm fairy tales. It has all of these different versions. And
But
so
a lot
it's
of
not...
these other ones do too.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Yeah. It's just that they took advantage of that with the Cinderella.
The live action Cinderella is actually its own thing. So I think that makes it a lot better, especially when it's not going against the original message. And I'm not saying you can never go against a message.
It does expand on and kind of make its own version,
Yeah.
but it doesn't like contradict or do something totally different.
I mean, this is with any kind of adaptation is, I mean, like book to movie, like cartoon to live action. There's all these different changes you can make, and there's a reason to make...
Stop hitting the table.
I'm sorry. There are reasons to make the changes, and sometimes people do it thoughtlessly. Sometimes people make changes because it's actually better in that medium,
Mhm.
and that makes sense. And then sometimes people make changes to change the actual morality of the story.
Mhm.
And you can do that in a way that you're more correct, because if the original morality was bad, you can change it and have it better. And I don't think that's a problem.
Or you can further flesh out,
Yes.
add nuance. Like there's ways you can change.
Yeah, it's not like just because it's the original, it's the better version. That's
Yeah.
not always the case.
There's an occasional movie that's better than the book.
Yeah.
Once in a blue moon.
Children of Men. I think the movie's better in
I
certain
mean, I'm not going to
ways.
say it's better, but No Country for Old Men.
That one's different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. Was
But
that on
it's-
our
it's a-
Disappeared first podcast?
No, there was no first episode.
Yeah, okay. We're not going to talk about it. It's secret.
But that's an example of making a deliberate worldview change because you have a different opinion.
Yeah, and that's actually not necessarily bad to do.
It can be interesting to compare.
However, yeah, it can be interesting to compare. So when we say like you're spitting on the original, it's like
you can
okay,
disagree
well,
with the original. That's
you
allowed.
can disagree with the original. It's not always
But
superior.
don't pretend you're respecting it while spitting on it.
Exactly, because I've read some reviews about the Lilo and Stitch movie, and some people are saying, I don't remember if it's one of the creators or not, but they're like, okay, so we're doing like a modernized version of Ohana. Like this is,
Like Lilo and Stitch isn't modern.
yeah, right. And it's like, this is just, it's still respectful. It's like the same thing. We're just pushing the message further, you know? And it's like, no, actually, you're saying the opposite of what the original said. And if the original was wrong, maybe I'd be fine with that. But don't say you're saying
Don't
the same
say
thing.
you're saying the same thing and then say something opposite.
No.
One thing that you need to realize, and if people listening are creative types, artists or writers, then you get it. But a lot of people can forget this. Changes are on purpose.
Yes.
Decisions are on purpose. So when a change is made and someone criticizes it, there's always going to be voices being like, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's not that big of a deal. And like, why do you care so much? And what you have to realize is that the change was made for a reason. So we look at the change and we go, oh, why?
So why did they change?
We're the ones
Yeah.
in the seat to kick the tires.
Yeah, as Dad would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not here to kick
They're
our
the
tires,
one-
so we
they're
can
the
say whatever
ones-
we want.
Exactly. They're the ones who made a deliberate change because
Yeah.
there are no accidental changes.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with an adaptation. So we're just sitting here being like, okay, why? So when you make the decision making the live action Lilo and Stitch that you're going to remove all commentary on tourism and the making Hawaiian culture a costume and
Yeah.
the fact that Lilo is taking pictures of tourists, instead they're like the fat guy who drops the ice cream is a Hawaiian.
Yeah.
When you remove all of that, I'm like, why?
Yeah, and it's
You did
not-
that on purpose.
Asking
Why?
does not mean we disagree with it.
But explain yourself.
Sometimes the answer is simply because the writers were also creative types. And
And they
creative
wanted their
types-
fingerprints.
Yes, they love to be like, well, I did it. So they'll
Mhm.
change a good joke for a worse joke.
That is
simply,
the main reason that you
Yes.
changed jokes.
simply because they're like, well, I wanted to be funny.
I wanted it to be my joke.
Yeah. I'm funny. I'm clever. It was me, guys. It's like, okay, well, it
Sometimes
was less
that's the whole
funny.
reason.
Right? Yeah, where they're just like, all I wanted to do was to get my hand on it. And they won't say that's the reason. They'll be like, oh, I'm improving it.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, you just wanted your touch on it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sometimes the simple answer. But sometimes it's like, okay,
So why?
because there are people watching this movie who are saying it's like anti-Hawaiian culture.
Mm-hmm. I've seen one person post, and I know Instagram is so reliable, but it's still
Super.
a valid take, I think, after watching, that it's actually like anti-Islander propaganda level, just because of the way that it's encouraging the family to break up,
And
the way that
go
it
to the mainland.
and go to the mainland,
Yeah.
and the way that it removes all commentary on tourism as a negative thing.
Yeah.
Like, because there's multiple criticisms.
In the cartoon, there's
animated.
like the moment where she's working at this like kind of luau place, I
Yeah.
guess. And so they're all dressed up. There's David like doing a fire dance or something. And when she's fired, she's like, well, I didn't want to work at your fake luau place anyways.
Because it's like the fake luau, the taking pictures of the tourists. The fact that when Stitch goes crazy, it's because of all the tourists treating him like an attraction and
Yeah.
crowding him and taking pictures and not paying attention to the fact that he's reacting negatively.
Yeah.
And it's just...
So there's stuff in it that's
and the
being
fact
like,
that the family needs to stay together, and that's a good thing. And all of that's gone in the live action. So I'm just like, why?
yeah. It's very strange.
And it's a similar thing with many people talk about the
Many
race
people.
swapping that happens in live actions.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like an express opinion right now because I don't think all are bad, but it's that exact same thing where I'm like, why?
Why'd you make the
Not
change?
not because, as Instagram may call me, I'm racist.
Super. The most.
Don't say that on here. People will believe you. Like, not because of that. It's just because you made a change. It was on purpose.
Yeah.
So my question is why?
Yeah.
And there's going to be an answer for that. There's going to be, you know, the publicity answer, and there's going to be the real answer. And if you're like, I think that it has a really positive impact on the story, I think it fleshes this out in a good way, then I'm like, okay. If it's like I had an open auditions and this person was the best, I'm like, okay. But if it's just,
If you go out and
I
like,
want
yeah.
brownie points.
Yeah.
I don't want to cast a white girl.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to parade this out in the world and get a ton of sympathy votes because I'm too lazy to make a good story.
Right.
And then I'm like, if it's like, representation because there are no black princesses, I will point you to the Queen Tiana.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody would be pretty miffed if we made a live action with her as a white trash girl, you know?
Well, you shouldn't.
I don't think you should. No, I don't think you should. but
Yeah,
I'm
we're
like,
on the same
okay.
page.
Like,
Yeah, like I said, I don't think all swaps are wrong. I actually, one suggestion I had when we were having the original talks of race swapping Snow White is like, okay, Asian girl.
that makes sense.
Yeah. We can
feel
still
like-
have the fairest of them all because there are some pretty light-skinned Asians. And it's like, it can actually work very well.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this matches the storyline.
And then we
mean-
wouldn't have to say she was named Snow White because she survived a snowstorm as an infant.
And she's a communist, so she's the fairest of them all. Did they actually do that?
Yes, they
that way?
did.
Yeah, okay.
She's the fairest, as in most equity.
Yeah. But it's just funny because it's like, okay, so an adaptation does not have to be bad.
Mhm.
Differences are not necessarily bad. So I feel
But
like,
why?
yeah, but why?
Always
So
why.
I'm like, okay, if you look at, because you've talked about, you love Till We Have Faces, right?
Yes.
I also love that book. I think it's
I
great.
mean, that's technically an adaptation.
Yeah, technically. And then you're like, okay, so if you did something with that, like made it
Making a movie or a
making
graphic
movie,
novel.
making a
or-
graphic novel, making something else, there are things in the book that I think you could change in the adaptation to like keep the original message.
Mhm.
Because I know you've talked about this before,
Yeah,
right?
because Lewis wrote this back when Lewis existed.
True.
I don't know what year he wrote it. I
Okay.
I have no idea when in his lifetime he wrote Till We Have Faces. But there are some things that work really well in the book that if put into visuals might be distracting.
Yeah.
For a modern consumer.
Partially because he's being extremely metaphorical,
Mhm.
especially
But
with
if you
character
made
psyche.
it concrete, then it would no longer hit as metaphorical and people might misconstrue it.
Yeah.
And I'm talking specifically about, like Ameera mentioned, Psyche. Using Psyche as this kind of stand-in for
Perfection.
goodness, really.
Beauty,
Beauty and goodness.
Yeah.
And for Orwell, she's always been ugly.
Mm-hmm.
But she clearly gets like uglier as she's being selfish and awful.
Yeah.
And in the end, when she's been living well as a queen, you see her through the eyes of her people, and they see her as something beautiful and fair.
Mm-hmm.
Even like with the veil on, it's just like, that's her, like she to them is something great because she's been living well.
Yeah.
And so beauty is very metaphorical throughout that book. In her growth moment, she becomes Psyche in this kind of dream state.
Yeah.
And it's just, there are two Psyches.
Which means her black hair or whatever turns gold.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And it's like, okay, in the book, I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a metaphor and it's gorgeous. And this idea of like, how can we face the gods until we have faces is beautiful.
It's like, okay, but let's be real. Like, if you make a movie version
where you just bibbity boppity boo her blonde.
You bibbity boppity boo her into this golden haired fair girl. You're like, I think people are just going to be distracted by that.
Yeah, and
it's not that I think Lewis was doing anything bad in any way.
No, I think it was great.
I think it was awesome.
But in the visual medium, it would be distracting because his point is not that girls should be blonde and fair.
No, point
that's not the point. The point
is becoming more beautiful, like striving to become more like to
being
this
good,
standard.
being selfless.
Yeah,
is being beautiful. And so, like, if I were to do a graphic novel, as I would like to do someday, of Till We Have Faces, then I would keep her herself and make her a beautiful self.
Yeah.
Where she does find beauty.
Version. Yeah.
She does find beauty, but it would still be her thing. And that would not be intended as disrespect to Lewis. That would purely be a change.
Yeah.
So that people interpret it as he would have wanted them to interpret it.
Yes.
Instead of being
to keep the original
distracted.
message.
So that is the idea of changing something to preserve once it's been, decades.
Yeah, when there's a cultural difference where you're like, okay, so people will interpret it incorrectly.
Especially in a different medium.
Yes.
So cultural change and different medium.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so it was great.
Love it.
Yeah, it's like just because of the cultural context, things can mean different things.
Mm-hmm. And I won't shy away from changing something just because I can't change something when I think that it will do a better job at honoring the original material.
Right. I'm trying to think of an actual adaptation that does it well, honoring it, because some of the ones...
You mean like a live action? Are we still on that?
Either way. Because I'm like, okay,
or just like book to movie.
Cinderella, we're like, okay, it's basically something else. It's basically a different thing. Children of Men, it changes a lot of... I think it changes kind of the message of the movie in certain ways.
It adds more optimism.
Yes. Same with
Not like blatant optimism,
No Country for Old
but
Men.
hope.
It also changes some of the messaging of the story, I would say. But I'm trying to think of one that makes a change that keeps the original idea. Can you think of one?
Now I gotta think.
I know.
I feel like people
Like,
aren't
think
very good
deeply.
at
Say it again.
adaptations.
Perfect.
But
Work on words.
words are good.
Difficult, though.
Real hard. I can only think of bad examples. You help. Think.
No, I'm letting you think.
No, I don't want to think.
It's only room for one brain in this room. Because I'm like, okay, live actions. We're like, okay, Cinderella, we kind of like. Or we approve of. Don't necessarily.
Period.
Yeah. Like,
And so I know a lot of people like some of the other ones, and I'm not saying there are some that it's totally cool to enjoy it. I just still have beef. And then there are some that you shouldn't enjoy.
What are ones you can enjoy?
Well,
Jungle
like-
Book?
Jungle Book, yeah.
We're like, there was literally no point because these are all CGI animals. It's still,
But it's like, hey, it's fun.
it's like the same thing.
I might judge you slightly if you really like Beauty and the Beast. But there's definitely things to really enjoy about it.
It's
I
also
still-
basically the same, right?
It's got some...
I haven't watched that
it's
in a
got some
while.
stuff added that I don't approve of. And then some stuff that's fun. They add a Beast song where he's like pining for Belle. So that's great.
I don't remember that.
It adds some... Well, what's his face? The little guy?
Yeah.
who follows around Gaston.
I know who you're talking about.
Crazy gay in the live action.
Well,
Deeply
he's bad.
like
so...
he was this little like beta follower in the original, but he was just like deeply in love with Gaston through the entire thing, and I'm like, I can't let go of finding that annoying.
Yeah.
And then there's of course this like weird tranny moment.
Okay.
Not to mention a bucket load of autotune.
Yeah, okay, that's
Like
real.
crazy amounts of autotune. And I'm pretty sure Emma Watson can sing, so I don't know why they were abusing the autotune so much. But like if you enjoy that one, I'm like, fair. If you enjoy Mulan,
Okay, I haven't seen that, but I've heard it's bad.
talk about changing the point. In the cartoon, she does not want to go to war. She wants to save her father.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, she also has some identity crisis and, like, she feels like she can't bring honor to him. All that stuff. Like, she doesn't really know who she is.
You know, great stuff.
Great stuff.
We
But
love
the
an
reason
insecure
she
queen.
goes is not, I would love to go be in the war. It was, my father will die if he goes.
Yeah.
Like, he can't even swing his sword around in his room without hurting himself. He's injured from the last war.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he will die. And
Yeah.
since because of her insecurity, rather than it being like, I need to find myself, like many responses to insecurity are in movies, it was, I guess I'm the disposable one. Like, obviously, I'll try to live. She does, and she nails it. But it was like, okay, this is something I can do for him.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and she gets it did. Little girl power, but I like it anyway. Because she's a queen.
Okay.
But the live action is she wants to go to war. Because she wants to go to war.
Because it's cool.
And she wants to prove herself.
I want to go kill
and
people.
she,
Yeah.
That insecurity, like, compared to the added perfect sister character,
Okay.
it's just like, I need to go be girl boss and be stronger than all the boys instead of, making a fool of herself like Mulan did in the original, which is what would happen. And then you grow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'd judge there.
Okay. I'm still trying to think of a good one. I'm sure there's one out there.
Well, another one that you can enjoy, but I definitely don't like it very much, is Aladdin.
Oof.
I'm like, the girl boss way hard in that one. We're like, the
Like, what's
speechless
going
song
on?
where nothing happened. She just like stepped out of time to sing Speechless, and then she turns around and is like, dude, don't you love my father? You're like super awesome. And he's like, yeah, you know what? You're right. And turns against Jafar and then just gets like zapped to the dungeon, and it didn't even do anything. And she wants to be Sultan. We have a word.
She wants to be
we have a
Sultan.
word for the female Sultan. It's Sultana.
Yeah.
So why are you insisting you want to be Sultan? It's just like the girl, and this has happened in things, I can't come up with it off the top of my head, where people are like, I really want to be king. I'm like, well, be queen, girl. Like, you can still be queen and have like a king consort
What's
and
wrong
be the
with
one
being a
being
queen?
the monarch. But like, I want to be a king. I'm like, we have a word for what that is for a girl.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but Aladdin, it does like have
Okay.
some fun things, so people can totally vibe. And Speechless is a fun song, even if it's like totally
It's
pointless.
terrible. Wait, so not all changes are bad.
Yep.
Just a lot of them, because they're pointless.
Mhm.
They're either pointless, often,
Or bad.
or like,
Like, oh, that was the
abandon your sister, like in Lilo and Stitch.
rounding back. Anywho, I think it's time we clocked out.
Yeah. Still need help, and we're still repressed, so
Ciao, ciao all.
bye.